All the rest of the money that I invested, those were like, I didn't care about these amounts. I invested in the patent, but I'm not going to start forcing it on people. I'm not going to waste my time and money on that. Like, I'd rather work on the brand and making sure my product's surpassing the other copies.
Let's dive into your product. Like, how did you create your product? How did you come up with the product idea? And was there something similar or competitive when you first started?
Basically, it all started. I saw one of the Travis videos on YouTube, and I told to myself like, oh, like this guy looks honest and like he looks really transparent and everything. And I started looking and I noticed that he had a course, to sort of start selling on Amazon. So I just went ahead and took the course. And then in the course, one of the steps that they tell you is that they literally tell you to write down every like things that annoy you like during the day. To start thinking about something that you could invent. I know, we're in 2025. There's a lot of new stuff coming out every day. But I just started writing things, and I was working in my office here on my desk, and my cats were jumping on the desk, and that's basically at one point I just told myself, oh, that'd be a cool idea to have a bed on the desk. And because I prior to this I had a cat tree in my office, and that when the cat were not on my desk, they were sleeping in that little hammock there. It's a little hammock like this. So I just told myself, oh, I could have this on my desk, and they would sleep in there, and they'd be close to me and everything. And so I started looking on the internet, and I told myself, this must exist, right? Like it's so simple. Like for sure someone did that, and started looking on internet, and no one did that. So I was like, oh, there it is. I got it now. I just had my, flash moment. So I went ahead, see my wife with the idea. I told her, hey, here's what I would do. And, I explained it to her, and she was like, 100%, I would buy one. So I was like, okay, perfect. Got my idea now. And I started working from there.
I love that. It's such a light bulb moment
It was.
to have. Did you use helium-10 to research like the volume on such a product? And
Not at all. I was just like, it didn't exist. So it was actually one of the pain points is when I started doing the listing and the keywords and everything, I had nothing to sort of go and attach to. Like I had to, even when I wanted to do a research, like how do you make a research on the market when there's none? Like, so I only knew that it was for cats, pets, people, they like to spend for their animal, right? It's like, so yeah, I just went and did it. So if I'm not mistaken, I had the idea like on a Wednesday. I called my friend, and by Friday night, I was in his garage and we were like welding stuff. And I have images and videos of us welding the sort of prototype. We tested it, and the cat just went in there. So I was like, there it is. That's it. Let's do it.
I love that. And speaking of your product listing, what is your brand name and how did you come up with it?
Okay, so what happened is that I first started because in the course, it's really about you making a lot of the things, right? You're making your brand name, and you're like doing your marketing and your images and stuff like this. At first, I went on Fiverr and I started like brainstorming on some brand names. And the first brand name that I came with was Pal's Cradle, but saying it is hard. So my coach back then from the Passion Product Formula told me you should find a brand name that is easy to say. That you could be in a nightclub and tell it to someone and they would hear it. So at that moment, I went back and back to the drawing table. And I just told myself I would hire a branding company. So I wanted to go all in because I really thought my idea was great. So I just hired a company, and they presented me I think it was 3 or 4 projects with brand colors, brand names, idea, marketing images and stuff like that. And I just chose one. It's called CoBuddy. So it's easy to say, it's easy to remember too. And we went ahead with that, and I gave them the contract, and they basically did everything around it. Like they did the images, pictures. We had a photograph coming home, and we did everything with them.
That's amazing. And you worked with a designer again on Fiverr for that?
Well, I worked with a designer to make the first logo. So I reached out to that person and I told them, hey, I am doing this product. It's going to be called Pal's Cradle, like a little cat. So he made me a first logo. So I sort of spent money there for no reason because I went back to the drawing boards after, right? And I just told myself, I want to do this right. There's a big market out there. I'm the first one. My product is simple, right? It was a good idea, but it's nothing like it's not rocket science. So I knew I would get copied by other companies. Like that would happen for sure. So I told myself I'm going to focus on the branding of my product, make sure it's the one, the original, and that it's like Coca-Cola. You could buy no-name cola, or you're going to buy a Coke or Pepsi. So I wanted to be my product to be like Coke or Pepsi, like the real one. That's why I decided to hire just went back and hired a marketing company.
Oh wow, that's amazing. And that cost you from the sales sheet. You put 4,500. That was the cost for the entire branding process.
The initial offering project. Overall, with that branding company, I've invested probably near 20,000 so far.
Just for branding?
Yep.
Oh wow. But the initial, since starting to the launch, you spent
I was at
15,000.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you went through 2 versions of your logo because you changed your initial brand name.
Yeah, I just redid everything basically. I even had at first my first name, which was Pal's Cradle. I even applied for the trademark for it. So I paid for no reason the trademark request, and then I went back and did apply for another trademark for my new name.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there was some mistakes here and there.
Yeah, that was a bit, which is fine. I mean, that happens. Yeah, sometimes you want to get everything perfect.
Yeah.
From the beginning. And over here you put 4,500 for branding company. Is that
You could put that number to, I don't know the exact number, but it's close to 20 grand.
does that include
Logo, websites, Amazon images, video. I don't know if you've seen the video on Amazon. Like it's really professional. There's a little video in my listing. They all did that with some video people, like they just did everything. I invested no time into this. That was another one of my issue. Like that, I mean, I've been in real estate for 15 years. We have a team of brokers and we work, and for me, time is worth quite a lot of money. So if I would have started to just do everything by myself, I was almost losing money at that point. So that's why I wanted to just go ahead and give them the contract, and that's it. Guys, take care of that, and I'm focusing on my real estate business, and just deliver me what I requested, basically.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I saw the video. It looks really cool, actually. I'm looking at it right now. And the design, so you put here that you spent 5,400 on the design. Was that anything for branding, or is that for the actual product design?
Okay, so product design, I hired an engineer because that's another thing. When I contacted manufacturers in China, the way my clamp is made, it's what we call a G clamp. The way it's made, they have plenty of those in China, but they're all normal G clamps. Like they're all the same. So all the companies that copied me, it's just a piece of metal with the screw that goes up and down, and they welded like a tube on the other side, and then you put the bed in there. So it's all normal. I knew that I needed to have like a sort of particular G clamp that has a more sleek look, a better design, I'd say, to be able to set myself apart with the quality of my product. So I went and I hired a freelancer. He drawed me the whole, and then I sent this to my manufacturer in China, and they did a whole mold because it's injected metal. So they had to do the mold and everything. So this is why it cost me so much. Just the mold, it was like $4,000 US when I gave them my plans. So my engineer cost me about $1,000, and then I sent them my plan and making the mold so that I would have my peculiar plan, G clamp. It was $4,000.
That's amazing. I love that you actually, not a lot of people are willing to spend that much initially on their first product, and that's amazing that you're like, no, I'm going in, like I'm hiring an engineer, I'm hiring a professional branding company, I'm doing this professionally.
Yeah, and to be honest, what really motivated me at that point was that I was alone on the market and I knew I would get copied. So I had two choices, right? I could have cut into the expenses and get copied and it would really hurt my business, or just go out there and establish my product as the king product. So that's why I wanted to and everyone around me that I was telling them about my idea, they were like, wow, that's so it's so stupid, but at the same time, it's so smart, right? There's nothing complicated in my product. It just does what it needs to do. I have zero teaching to give to my customer. he sees the product, he know what the product is for. You don't have to explain anything. Like it just does what it's supposed to, you know?
Definitely. It's a cool idea. It's a very cool product to have, and it's very convenient, and what a great way to have like this little extra pocket next to you for your pet instead of having it jump on the table, and and because pets do want to be around you.
They do.
Yeah, so it's a really cool idea. I love it.
And I mean, to be like, I'm a bit of a cat lover, to be honest, you know, for me to have my cat sleeping right beside me, like he's my buddy. Like I'm happy to have him right there. He's like literally beside my arm when I'm working, you know? So for people that have cats, like they know what I'm talking about.
And you put here that you spent $8,000 on software and tools. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
The website. I don't know if you noticed the website, but we did a whole website. It's cobody.com or cobody.ca. So we made a whole website because I wanted to, again, if my customer would have seen my product on internet and they'll go like, okay, what's this brand? They will go on Google, Cobody, boom, a nice website. It's professional. I don't want my product to come out as a Chinese thing that I just ordered and trying to sell for premium profit. Like I wanted to have like a full customer experience. I was using myself like as a guinea pig because I know the way my mind works when I'm looking for something I'm buying on Amazon. I want quality. So when I look at a part, I'm going to go see what company is making that part. And if it seems like a good, legit company, I'll be 50% more at ease to buy the product. So I wanted to just create this for my customer.
Yeah, especially if you're creating like social media content and social media ads outside of Amazon.
Yeah.
You might want to bring customers to your website versus Amazon. And how much sales are you getting outside of Amazon through your website?
Right now, 0. I'm pushing everything through Amazon. Even my website, if you go on cobody.com and you click buy now, it's going to send you right on the Amazon page.
Oh, so you don't even know how many are actually buying from your website?
No, but okay. I don't think I have a big organic clientele on, to be honest. I just made the website because I wanted it to be there once I'm ready to start expanding to other markets and stuff like that.
Do you know how many clicks are you getting a month?
Not even, I didn't check that.
And the $8,000, was that part of the branding company cost, or did they do your website, or was that a separate?
It was a separate company that did my website.
Got it. And
in collaboration with the branding company.
Okay. And the $900 that you spent on samples, I'm guessing that's after you've created the mold and you sent it to the manufacturer. They charged you $900 to create samples?
Oh, okay. Sorry, so I didn't get that question good. So the samples, in my mind, when I answered that question, it was when I actually did my first order, my first batch. I had some units sent to me at my house. And I contacted some people on social media, on Instagram and TikTok, some people that had like cat accounts that had a lot of followers. And I would reach to them and tell them, hey, I have this product. I'm a new company, blah, blah, blah. I could send you one. And if you could please, we could do a collaboration and just speak about my product. So I send out, like I said, these 10 to 15 units. So for the shipping costs and everything, it cost me about $1,000 to do this. And if you... like we could note it, but that was one of my mistakes. I think the results were not good. Like for the amount of money and the time it took, it's really time consuming. You have to write a message to the person. The person has to answer you, and back and forth, and getting the address, shipping the product, making a follow up. Like when are you going to do your video and stuff like that? So for the result it gave, for the annoyance it was, it wasn't super great, to be honest.
Okay, so you didn't get a lot of return out of it. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and for my samples from my manufacturer, I paid maybe, I don't know, like it was like $200 per sample. She sent me, it took like 3 samples because I was finding not some defects, but some stuff that I didn't like on the product when I got it. Mm-hmm. So I would tell them do this differently, and then so it took like 3 samples, $200 samples. So that I was like, okay, that's good. We're ready to go on Amazon now.
Nice. Yeah, you need to have that phase, that samples phase, to make sure that your product is the way you want it. And and you spent $200 per sample. So you did 3 rounds of that, and then you're like, okay, this is approved. Now I want to sell it.
Yeah.
And did your manufacturer also help you with the packaging? They
Uh,
package your product for you?
my branding company did actually did the whole concept of the package. So I just send them sort of the plans of the package, and then my manufacturer with their machines and stuff just they adjusted it and made the boxes. But they got a package, a complete package. Same thing for the instructions, thank you card, and everything that there's in the box. It was all made by my branding company. And I just took the files, send them to my manufacturer, and told them, "Here's what I want. Here's the package, the box, the product, the thank you card, and everything."
You gave them the designs and they printed everything.
Yep, exactly, in the house.
Nice. And your first production run was a little over $22,000 for 3,000 units.
Yep.
And you manufactured in China,
Yep.
shipped to the US.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ship by sea?
Yep, by sea.
And how much did that cost you approximately?
If I'm not mistaken, it was around. I worked with AGL, Amazon Global Logistics.
Oh, nice.
If I'm not mistaken, it cost around 10 grand or something like that.
Yeah, this is a cool new feature that Amazon now has. They handle the shipping for you from
Yeah.
China. Before, you had to find a freight forwarding company or have your manufacturer see if they do the shipping for you and
It's really
receive it.
simple. It goes very well, to be honest. I don't know about the price because I never look, to be honest, I have some flaws. I'm someone that doesn't have a lot of time, so the way it works in my mind, I'm not gonna start calling like 8 freight forwarder to save $200. I don't mind. So I don't know if their price are that good because I never compared them to anyone. But at that point, I'm not gonna waste 2 days going back and forth with some people to save $1,000 on a 30K order there. So, but it goes very well for the. It goes so well that honestly, because when I have my shipments being shipped from China. I have some shipments that are going to United States, which I'm working with AGL. And I have some shipments going to Canada, and AGL doesn't go Canada. So I have to find a freight forwarder and everything, and it's so complicated for real. Like it annoys me to ship to Canada. Like it's a stressful moment in my week when I have to create a shipment for Canada. It doesn't go well. Like AGL, they all communicate with each other. It's super simple. It goes well. Canada is always complicated with the freight forwarder. I wish AGL was in Canada. Actually, did have me as a customer.
And how much did it cost again? I didn't catch that number.
For the States, it was about 10 grand.
10 grand for shipping.
Yeah, 2,000 units approximately. I shipped 2,000 units to the States and 1,000 units to Canada on my first order.
Oh, got it. Okay. Which I want to talk to you about that. So how easy was it for you to set up the US marketplace that since you're based in Canada?
It was as easy as doing it in Canada. It's just that for me, the sales number were literally 10 times better in the States than in Canada. And that's something I wish I did knew before. Here's another one of my mistake. Maybe I didn't do my own work, but I should have known that I would sell 10 times more in the States than in Canada. So I send 2,000 units to the States and 1,000 units to the Canada, where it should have been maybe, I don't know, 2,700 units or 600 and 400 to Canada, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the US market is the biggest market in the world. It's more than
It is.
2/3 the market compared to the global market combined.
Yeah.
There's over 200 million Prime customers in the US alone, and there are 300 million Prime customers in the world.
There it
So
is.
you can imagine how big the US market is.
Yeah.
I always tell people when they ask me this, they're like, oh, should we sell in this market or that market? I'm like, honestly, you should be selling in the US market. That's where the real money is.
It is. And you know what? You want to, here's something even funnier. For me in Canada, $1 is worth approximately, let's say as of today, like 135. But last year during the peak that I was selling, it was like 140. So my basket that I was selling in the US, I was selling it for $69.99 US. I would have needed to sell it almost $100 in Canada to be equivalent. I did put my basket in Canada for $79.99, and people were not buying it. Like, people are broke here. Like, we're paying so much tax that at $79.99, I wasn't selling at all. So I had to
Wow.
drop my price in Canada, like under my US price, which my US was 1.40 that. So for me, selling in Canada is like, I'm making peanuts on that. Like, to be honest, it's, if it was to start again, I would have probably not started the Canada side, to be honest.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's a lesson. And a good thing you didn't send your entire inventory there and you chose to send to the US market. That's a
Yeah.
good choice, but there you go. I mean that answers a lot of people's questions, by the way, from that experience alone. And I share that with people all the time. They ask me, like, should I ship here? Should I sell there to save on tariffs? I'm like, well, you're gonna save on tariffs. You're not gonna make it up by selling in different markets, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and we can talk about that later, by the way. But I wanted to ask more about the shipping costs. You said it cost you $10,000. Do you remember how much was it to ship to the U.S. alone versus Canada?
It was about, let me see, 2 seconds.
You put 8,000 here shipping to Amazon. Was that the cost for to the U.S. market?
Yep. I'll go see my shipment that I did in the States there. Let me see. There's probably a way to see the cost of that shipment.
Mm,
Hmm.
Probably under since it's on the Amazon
Yeah, it's in
seller
the
board,
AGL.
you'll have to go into your reports and see how much it costs you to ship it.
Confirm shipping there. So see, it was, well, okay, so there it is. It was 6 grand plus all the other fees when, because the pickup fee and stuff like that, palletization, container loading. So it was 6 grand plus that. So yes, it was around eight grand US.
8 grand total to the US.
Yeah, for 2,000 units. It's about $4 per unit shipping cost on average.
Got it. And probably was 2,000 to the Canada.
I sent 1,000 units, so it was around $4,000 for Canada.
$4,000 to
Yeah.
Canada. Okay. And all of those were by sea, right?
Yep, absolutely. By plane, it would have been like insane.
Yeah, that would have been a lot. Okay, so let's see here. Oh yeah, let's talk about LLC. So I see here that it cost you about $1,500 to set up your LLC.
Yep,
How did you set it up in the US or in Canada?
in Canada, because that was one of the actually more complicated things. Well, it wasn't complicated to set the LLC up, but with all the papers that we have to give on Amazon and all those verifications and stuff, I had a hard time. I think it was their system that was bugged, but I had a hard time basically confirming my company since it was made in Canada. But yeah, other than that, it went well. It wasn't, I mean, it wasn't complicated that much. I just called the lawyer and I told him I'm going to be selling product on Amazon. I want this company, and that's it. She made the company, registered it, and was about it.
So a lawyer,
yeah,
is the one who set it up for you. And did they register an EIN number for you in the US as well, so you can sell in the US market?
Probably. I know that I think that was the complicated part. I think yes, they did set up something like this, the EIN number, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay. And barcodes, you said that you spent $100 on barcodes through GS1.
Yeah, GS1 Canada.
GS1 Canada. Did you buy multiple barcodes?
I bought 10 of them, I think, something like that. It was like a little package there, and I bought these.
Did you buy a package because you were thinking of like launching variations?
I think it was just the minimum one that you could have. I think
Oh,
GS1 Canada doesn't sell one barcode, like it's 10
I
minimum.
see.
Yeah, so I mean, at that point, from all the rest of the money that I invested, those were like, I didn't care about these amount. That's why I took the 10 one.
That's funny. Yeah, like here in the US, you could buy one if you want to for like $30. But it doesn't hurt to have multiple ones. You never know when you're gonna make a variation for your product. I think different colors could be a great variation.
Yep.
And
We're actually working on that. Not different. Well, we're working on. I'm going to be selling the fabric by itself of different color. So people are going to be able to buy the co-body, which is when you buy it, the original color is like a light. It's a beige color, light beige, and the variations that I want to do is that people are going to be able to buy different fabrics for their whatever their taste, and just switch the fabric on the bed as they wish.
Nice. That's pretty cool. And oh, I forgot. I wanted to ask you because you put here that you filed for a patent for the U.S.
Yep.
Did you use that? Was it the same lawyer who set that up for you, or did you have to hire another lawyer?
I hired a lawyer from. I went with Fiverr with those freelancers, so I hired a lawyer over there. I think my lawyer for the United States patent is based in India, but she did all the filings for the U.S. patent.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And talking about mistakes, I could say this one was another one because it cost me $5,000 to do a patent, which is okay. Like you have a patent, that's good. Now, what do? I have like 16 company copying me. I'm not gonna start run after everyone. Can you imagine how much it's gonna cost me for the lawyer to start running after everyone, like trying to like smash my patent and just like, yeah, you can't do it. Like it's so I realized that I invested in the patent, but I'm not gonna start forcing it on people. I'm not gonna waste my time and money on that. Like I'd rather work on the brand and making sure my product's surpassing the other copies, Chinese copies of it.
Are they copying you on Amazon?
Yep.
Well, if you have a utility patent, Amazon now has a program where you can just submit an inquiry showing your utility patent, and they will shut down any competitor that's breaking your patent, basically.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Amazon is trying to make it better. I know there's a lot of complications with fraud and stuff, but having a patent could help you with
Even if it's
Amazon.
still pending?
It's no, ideally it has to be approved. That's the only
Okay.
problem. Yeah, that's the
Well,
only problem, is that you have to wait for it to be approved. But the cool thing is that once it does go through,
you're just closing all those competitors.
exactly.
Well, that'd be great. Like this actually gives me motivation to keep on pushing that patent then.
Yeah, it'll be worth it, especially that it's a brand new product and has a utility, and you're the first one. It's definitely gonna come in handy.
Sure.
So definitely look into that. Look into the program. I forgot what it's called with Amazon, where you just submit an inquiry and you show your utility patent, and they do their due diligence and they shut down any competitors that are breaking your patent, basically.
Wow. Okay.
So hopefully that gives hope to a lot of Amazon sellers, because fraud has been a lot lately on Amazon, and there's been a lot of copycats and people that are just copying other products and selling them.
Yeah, there is. There's literally people, there's listings out there that are using my images, that were using my images.
Wow.
Like, okay, it's all right. You want to do my product? That's like, you want to copy me? That's good. At least do your own image, like, come on.
Wow.
So yes, okay. I'm gonna work that out then.
Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And the last question I wanted to ask you here is about your photos. You put here that you spent $3,000 on photos. Was that separate? Did you hire a photographer to do this?
No, that was in the branding.
That was part of the branding cost?
Yeah, the branding package there.
Okay. So I'm going to put that in there. And lastly, your trademark, did you do those yourself or did you hire someone to do it?
The first time I did hire someone, and then I noticed how stupid it was to submit a trademark. So I paid one guy from Fiverr there. I paid one person. It was like $400 or $500, and then he sends me the like the filing that he did. He wrote like four lines of text, and that was it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, did I paid $500 for that? So the second time I did it, I didn't call that guy. I just went ahead and do it myself. That was a learning too.
Nice. All right. Well, now is the exciting part. I want to talk about sales and launching. When did you launch your product?
So it was launched like end of July 2024. And when I say end, it was like July 30th, like or 31st. It was like really like the last days of July.
Okay. So how was your feeling at that point, at that moment when
Um,
you were about to launch?
I was really excited. Um, I was super excited, and my expectation were like they were high to a point where I thought you do PPC and people would just go like, "Oh, that's awesome! I'm buying it." And like I thought to myself, like PPC, it's gonna be so easy. Like I did like 3 auto campaigns there, just put like budget and then there you go, Amazon, just do it. And yeah, it started working. Like my sales started creeping up. I didn't know what I was doing with PPC, but the sales started creeping up, and it just picked up. And I think there is like a bit of a honeymoon phase that they say with Amazon. Like they when there's a new product, they just take it and put it in front of people. And I
Yes.
think it really worked out.
So you put here that you spent $22,000 on PPC. Was that for the entirety of
Yeah, until today.
until today? Okay, that's what I thought because I'm like, there's no way you spent $22,000 in 1 month.
No, 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 no.
Uh, but okay, that makes sense. So cool. But in July, you said you had zero sales. You launched it in July, but there was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
sales.
The
Then in,
two, 3 first days, I think I had one sell or something like that. Like I started realizing, oh my god, okay, this is going to be harder than I thought. But then it started picking up. So it really went like it every day. Like I would go, let's say, 2 cells for a couple of days, and then 3 cells, and then back to two, and then 4 cells. Like if I was hitting like new the plateau. I don't know how to say this in English, but new like levels, and then I wouldn't come down. It would just go up, and then at one point it was 8 cells per day, and then 10, and then it just kept picking up. So another mistake that I did, and that was my biggest one, that one hurt a lot. I thought at one point the cells would stop to pick up. So I told myself like I'm not gonna sell 30 units per day like within the next month or so. And it did happen actually. So I calculated my inventory, saying to myself I was selling in between 10 to 14 units per day. Told myself with the amount of units left that I have, let's say, I don't know, like 80 days in front of me. I was working on a second version of the product. It's the same product, but we were basically, you see this bracket there? There's a
Mhm.
little boat that goes on the side. That screw there. That screw, it wasn't like it's okay, but I wasn't happy with the quality of it. And some customers said they had a hard time like really stopping the bed from turning like this because that screw is not strong enough. So I was selling, and the only bad reviews that I would get were always related to that screw
Mm.
all the time. So I started working on the second version of the product, and I thought I had like 90 days. So we were working on the mold, uh, doing a better screw, having the logo also on the mold here on the top of the bracket. And then time was passing by, and then at one point, I think it was like end of November, it just went like this, right? Like I was selling 30 units per day. So I told our manufacturer, like, guys, okay, like it doesn't work. Like we need to start producing. Like just start producing another batch. Like I'm gonna go out of stock. And so I closed all my PPC. I raised my price in the US. I was at 69.99. I raised it to like 79, I think. But it was like the gates were broken. It was just like flowing, and it was crazy. Like it was fun. Like I was selling like 2 3 grand US dollar per day. So for me in Canada, it was like almost 5 grand per day. Like it was insane, but went out of stock.
Mm.
That's the hurtful part.
So you went out of stock in January?
Yeah. And my batch, my new like order was not even started because they were working on that second version of the bracket. So got all the stock in January, and I got my new inventory back with the new bracket, best, better quality and everything in March.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for real, it wasn't fun. And the last month, which was December, I made like I think 45 grand of sell in that month. So if I would have kept that momentum, I just lost like 150 grand just because I went out of stock.
Mm,
Lost my ranking, had some new competitors coming in copying my product.
mm,
That was my
man.
all-time low. I was like that's no cool. I was having a hard time sleeping. Every day I would go to bed and I was like, fuck.
What could have been? Oh
Yeah,
man. That's okay. I mean, that's a good problem to have because if anything, you want your product to succeed more than anything. And looking at it from now, it seems like it's already picked up momentum. And you said you restocked back in March.
yeah,
We're not even end of April, and it's already hitting highs again. I'm guessing. Maybe not as much as January, but it's already hitting 100 plus. So that tells me that it's a really healthy listing already. So hopefully you'll get that ranking back up, and once your patent comes in and you get rid of all these competitors and all the copycats, you'll be able to even do better.
yeah,
So hey man, congratulations, honestly. Like that is such a cool startup story. I mean, you went from you're like, hey, I want to do this, let me create some side income, and you got a great light bulb moment product. I mean, this is such a cool product. It's always great when you come up with something new. I don't think I don't think it happens all the time. You know, not everyone can come up with something new, but it's really cool when you do.
no, thanks a lot.
And just to share it with our audience, even though you went out of stock um, in January and you just restocked, we didn't even share the sales that you got since you restocked, but I'll just share your sales from August of last year till January. You've made $148,000 in revenue. So you've
Yeah,
hit six figures in revenue. And after all expenses, maybe not all the startup expenses, because you did spend quite a few on
yeah,
branding and stuff like that. But if you just consider the production cost and some of the shipping cost, you've made $61,000 in net profits. And the PPC and the Amazon fees and all of that considered, after all these expenses, you've made $61,000 in net profits, which pays for all the other stuff that you paid for, which is amazing. And you're never gonna pay for the branding and all that stuff
again,
again.
yeah,
Yeah, in the same capacity. So if anything, you'll do micro adjustments and it won't cost you as much. And now you're back in the game, and hopefully it's just profits from here. So
yeah.
congratulations, man.
Well, thanks.
And thank you for coming on here and sharing your story. I think it's really inspiring. A lot of people are gonna love it and feel inspired by you and learn from your lessons too, from your
Yeah,
mistakes.
don't
I think
don't go out of stock. Okay, perfect. Thank you for your time, Kamal.
yeah, thank you.